What's up, YouTube family? You're tuning into another video. Today, I just want to talk about accountability. I'm sure everyone who's watching this have experienced um, something in their life where someone to take accountability for something they did, something that bothered you, and you called them out on it, letting them know this and that, this is what they're doing, this is what bothered you, and they just don't have anything to say about it. They almost kind of deflect it, not really um, acknowledging your feelings. And I just don't get it. I just feel like nowadays we live in a world where a lot of people just don't want to take accountability for their actions. Everyone's kind of programmed thinking that they can never do wrong, to make no mistakes. And it just shows. This shows by their actions. And these are the same people who would want you, for example, to be accountable and, admit your faults and mistakes or accept how they feel about something in particular. That's what they want from you. But they can never do that because they don't see the wrongs that they do. It's just, no, it's just backwards. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, they just view, a lot of people just think accountability nowadays is some sort of weakness, but accountability is the only way you can grow. Life is about growth, right? No one has all the answers to life. No one has gone through life, the ins and outs of it, to know all the answers. I think of myself as a student, a student of life. I'm always learning. There's always something to learn. And I'm humble enough to have the heart and the mind to want to learn. I know I'm a man of my word. I can admit my faults and mistakes, and I just know anybody I encounter, especially a relationship situation, I would want them to do the same. I just been in situations, plenty of situations where, especially in the beginning, getting to know this person, I tell them about how, of course, I just want someone who's loyal, accountable. I always include those two things in the mix, always, because those are very important. Because if someone shows me, especially if someone can show me that they're accountable, it definitely shows that they're willing to continue to progress and grow. Because any type of relationship, especially a romantic relationship, is about growth. It's about trying to help the other person be the best self, compliment the other person. And it's just crazy how I make this perfectly clear, and it's like the other person on the receiving end is kind of acknowledging it, or they appear to be acknowledging it, like, oh yeah, that's very important. I definitely understand what you're talking about. And then when it comes down to it, it's like, when something like an issue happens, right? Um, when I can call them out, or I feel the need to call them out, and I'm very respectful, you know, they deflect it. They deflect it. And it's it's just sad. They deflect it, making it seem like it's not what it is, and it will point your faults out. And you being the person you are, you accept it, and you might be like, yeah, that is true. And I was like, and then might be saying things like, why is it so hard for you to be accountable? And then it's just like they're just flustered, they're just angry. A lot of people just want to dodge it, and it just shows insecurities. At the end of the day, someone who doesn't want to be accountable just shows, it shows how insecure they really are. It it just makes them, they think it's, like I said, they think it's a weakness. They feel like deflecting and showing that they can't do wrong is more of a skill, more of a strength, and it's not. And if you really think about it, how this world operates today, you go to stores, you just see how people are, how tense people are, and people can do things. People can bump into you, for example, walking in a store, and some people, you would think something like that would happen, they'll always say, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, sir," or "Excuse me, ma'am." Some people just won't say anything if they think they can get away with it. And it's sad. That's why things happen. That's why the world is the way it is now, is because people don't want to take accountability. That's why we have, you know, just everything, the wars, stuff that's happened in the past, like just in general. There's so many things that has happened due to people not being accountable for it and still denying it to this day. So it's just one of those things that, you know, if someone's not willing to be or take accountability for the wrongs they do to you, then they're showing you who they are. You just need to cut ties from this person, because accountability is a big thing. That's a dangerous person if they're not willing to be accountable, because they're operating in a spirit of pride, the spirit of arrogance. And it'll get worse and worse the longer you kind of stick around. And especially if they're not saying things like, you're right, I can understand where you're coming from, and acknowledging. The fact they're not acknowledging and it's deflecting is just a dangerous person to stick around in the long haul. And never let anyone tell you otherwise, that, oh yeah, you don't need to be accountable. I mean, that just sounds ridiculous just even saying it, to be honest. Like, oh yeah, you should never be accountable for what you do. You should always be accountable for what you do. And especially to my men out there, you definitely have no choice but to be accountable. If you know what I'm saying? Like, everything you do that a woman can do is always going to be 10 times worse for you. You know what I mean? You have no choice but to be accountable. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, people who just continuously live their life not being accountable for their actions, I mean, they're just digging themselves a hole, and they're not at peace with themselves. They're gonna get worse and worse, and they'll continue to live this lie, thinking that they're okay, and fake it till they make it. But when they're by themselves, they're not okay, because they're dodging the shame of not taking accountability, and they're doing it to themselves, because that pride, they're operating, like I said, they're operating that spirit of pride, and they can't break it. It's too hard for them. They've been living like that for so long in their life. They can't break it. They can, but they don't have this. They're too weak to try to. But that's a choice. That's a choice that they're making. And, don't feel bad for these people. Surround yourself with people who are like-minded like you, who want to be their best self, to strive to be their best self, and take accountability, because that's the only way to grow. And when you grow, that's how you elevate in life. I mean, think about it. It's just, one step after another. It's all a process. And yeah, there's just too many people nowadays, man, that are just not willing to take accountability. They're just too arrogant. And me personally, I just, I don't even make time for it, to be honest. I mean, I don't give up. I'm not giving up on people in a sense of, people being real, but there's so many people who are just fake nowadays, to be completely honest. And I feel like a lot of people watching the video can agree, But at the end of the day, it all unfolds as far as what you need to know. But if, like I said, if someone's not willing to own up to their mistakes, then what's more that you need to be there for? What's more that you need to understand? Just take that and, leave them at bay. Because it'll only do you good. It'll only do you what needs to be done in the long run, which is for you to move on and not waste your time. Well, thank you for everyone who's watched this video. Thank you. I just want to kind of switch it up today. Just going from talking about toxic individuals and narcissists, because, the basis of my channel is just talking about life too. Talking about God and, spirit, my experiences. I want to get a little bit more deep into things in scripture and just how I know it applies to life. and that, how a lot of people just don't really see it. But a lot of people, it's prophesized not to see it. You know what I mean? And I see, from my experiences, I just see life through, just a spiritual lens. And the more I make these videos, I'm definitely going to open up to you guys to help you like learn more about what I'm seeing. And I just hope it, starts to resonate with you, and just have an open mind about it. But anyways, thank you again for all those who watch this again. Until next time, peace.